Man, oh man, it feels good to be back in the On the Money Sports Lounge to do what we do better than what anybody else out there. The only way that we can do it, the only way that the Mega Powers can do it, here live from the lounge on the Money Podcast, coming to you in living color. My name is Irrational. Alongside me, as always, is none other than Oscar Money Muniz in the house.
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing on this fine, exorbitantly hot Wednesday? Hopefully not everybody was out there working outdoors. If you were inside like I was, stay hydrated, pace yourself. Hopefully you did all those things and you got home. You get to enjoy some nice air conditioning, whether it be central air or old school window units, whatever it was. I hope you enjoyed it. You relaxed, you refreshed, you've had your dinner. Right now you're cracking your beverage, grabbing a bag of potato chips or some peanut butter M&Ms and getting ready to hear us go to town tonight.
Yeah, a lot to talk about, a lot to break down, a lot going on. A second before we went live, Cooper Flagg was officially drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. So NBA draft going on literally right now as we're doing this podcast. We've got OTAs going down. We've got a full slate of baseball, a lot of baseball action going down across the league right now. We'll give you live updates on that, as well as what's going down with the Sandlot Baseball Association, as well as some of our other fantasy leagues, because on tonight's podcast, we are going to do a little bit of a, can't call it a deep dive. What's the best word for it? A little bit of a shallow dive into the realm of fantasy football as we get ready for draft season.
Not deep enough.
In August, because last week, the assignment, the homework from last week into this week was top 5 fantasy football performers for the 2025 season. I have my top 5 list. I have my honorable mentions. And because me and this guy beside me play in a couple of leagues where we do the 2 quarterback system for our league, I also made a top 5 2 QB
above and beyond
list
he went
for us to be able to dissect, break down, and to kind of keep a mental note of 2 months from now when we're actually going up to the board and making the decisions that are going to determine the entirety of our fantasy football season.
Don't panic when you're at the 1 spot.
Yeah,
don't show
scared.
The league that you're like nervous.
Stay true to your convictions.
True.
You know, whatever you believe, whoever
do not
you
show
in.
your poker face. Be ready, be patient, and trust in your picks.
Forgot to
because we are less than 2 months away before football season is officially upon us. This is the last Wednesday of June. Come next Wednesday, it's July 2nd. We're going to be doing the On the Money Sports, the Elite 8, the 2 QB, what is it?
Dynasty of Arms.
The Dynasty of Arms, and I believe Sick Picks. All 4 of those leagues are getting their draft orders taking place that night.
Oh, yeah, it's going down. Oh, sorry.
We're just going to call that the On the Money Sports Draft Order Special. So everybody that's in one of our leagues or in all of our leagues, you tune in, you find out where you're going to be drafting come the end of August or second to last week of August, and prepare to make a team that's going to win.
That's what it's all about. Prepare to the best of your abilities. The Dynasty of Arms, Dynasty Startup Draft, 31-round draft going down.
Damn, we should have thought about Paul for a league this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get him in. Just put him on the list. We'll get him in eventually. It's only a matter of time. There's still 2 months. You never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. It's always good to keep everybody on standby because you always have those last-minute situations on draft days, especially for live drafts, where sometimes people
Mikey, are you going to be here next Wednesday? Have you told Noli you need to be here next Wednesday?
Big one next week, man.
So that you can do the draft order for Sick Picks and the Dynasty of Arms?
I'm going to need you.
so we can get these draft orders. My mission this weekend, besides straightening up down here, is to look for the bingo cage so we can be fancy again.
We lost that bad boy, didn't we?
It's
Or is it
somewhere around
in
here.
in the garage, maybe, or something.
It's either in the garage or somewhere under there.
Yeah.
Either that. Nah, I won't be done by next week.
Yeah, that's a lot.
There's no way I'll be done by next week.
That's a shit ton of M&Ms right there, bro. Oh,
I haven't told him, but I'll be there as long as I have a vacant unit. So what you're saying is, if you have to do units, we're going to essentially do your draft order for you. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying the guy who left will be the valedictorian
we'll do our best
of draft order for you?
I might have to co-commission for the night. Just to, you know what I mean? Like what's that called? The chosen ambassador. The chosen ambassador, speaker of the Sick Picks League, here representing Commissioner Mikey. No.
Oh,
no, I don't think he is it? No, I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think we
should. We did lock that. We locked that league up this week. Got our 10.
There's a bunch of people that we don't play
with. It's a new blood. You know what I mean? A new mix, new batch. Got my boy Miguel in there. Finally was able to get him into one of the leagues, so I'm excited about that. Yeah,
you're the mediator, like from Sick Money.
Okay.
Sick Money. Listen, right, Sick Money. You should have just gave me all the power in that league to make all the decisions, and I would have stopped all the whining and bitching from occurring in the first place. I'd have told them to nut up and shut up and just deal with it.
Speaking of which, it is the time of, yes, it is draft season. So one of the questions that I had that I wanted to put out there, because I don't just want to talk about our leagues, I want to talk about your leagues. And if you're in our leagues together, then we'll talk about our leagues more. But one of the questions that I had was around what time of the year do you hear from your commissioner? Now, I play in a lot of leagues with integrity.
I'll do it, Mikey. Special edition from the beach.
This guy is the commissioner of a few. Mikey's the commissioner of a few. And the thing is, we're always in contact. It's not like we're just fantasy football friends. We're friends 365. So we're always staying in touch. I always know more or less when my drafts are going
group
down.
Chats, but the most important group chat is the Jersey Triad chat.
And Gami, he reached out to me about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago to let me know about my South Jersey Brawlers League, which is going to be drafting on August the 24th, which is a Sunday. So we have the Dynasty of Arms Dynasty Draft on Saturday night. And then that Sunday afternoon, I will be heading out to draft with my boys from the South Jersey Brawlers League, the league where I unfortunately lost in the Super Bowl, looking to reclaim my spot at the top and hopefully get myself a championship in that league. That is a 1 quarterback league, 2 flexes. They got crazy and added a second flex, and there was a lot of bitching and moaning to that happening because these guys are very old school. Sometimes it's hard to get some of these laws passed. This is the time of year where it's good to start some of those conversations. You know what I mean? Your draft is in 2 months. You get in your group chat. You start, feeling the temperature on some things. Like,
hey guys, all the money sports. You guys want to do nothing extra.
There's nothing that really.
I will ask you guys if you want to get rid of the extra flex, because I said let's do it for a year and then we'll come back and we'll talk at the table.
I don't mind the extra flex. I really don't.
That was a Bobby Burnham idea.
What, 2 flexes?
Yeah, remember when he brought it up right there, and you were like, I don't know what to do.
I mean, it was one of those things, and it passed really fast. Like nobody was opposed to it, but we're a very progressive league in all the money sports. You know what I mean? Like we talk about it, we figure it out. If we want to do it, we do it. If not, then we shelf it and we keep it pushing, and everybody's real agreeable. And it's down to business, and then it gets super cutthroat and competitive on the board. We save all the shit talk for just the draft itself and getting on the board and looking and seeing what everybody's gonna do. Especially like the new thing is, who gets that number 1, who gets that vaunted number 1 pick in the 2 QB league, and goes up to the board and says to themselves, "I'm going to get a quarterback," or I am not going to get a quarterback. I am going to play the long game.
Understand, if you're the number 1 pick in a 2 QB league and you don't take a QB, the chances are you're getting second, third tier quarterbacks on the back end. However, if you pick a guy like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, you have a bona fide skill player that can score like a quarterback.
Very true. Very true. Yeah,
So,
definitely got to keep Paul, you know what I mean? Put him on the list.
I'll tell you what, 2-quarterback league, I got the first overall pick. I'm taking Jamar Chase all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Over any quarterback at all?
Yep.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Because he happens to be the name that made it onto both my top 5 lists. My top 5 skill position.
He's the
my
reason.
top 5 2 quarterback. And he is the only non-quarterback on that list of top 5.
He's the only reason in All the Money Sports that I just came alive, because he just started going crazy, and that just the rest of my team just started playing to their potential, and he was the catalyst. He was a needle mover. He was the guy who got the job done. He gets the job done. You know he's getting 20 targets a week, bro.
That's what he does, bro.
It is what it is.
That's who he is.
And it's not like he doesn't maximize on his – like, yo, I just sit there and I laugh. Whenever I see Jamar Chase and he's on my team taking a 70-yarder to the house, I just smile. That's what I did all last year when I would see that like this.
You know what that means.
And whoever I was playing, I would look right at him like, hey.
Out of curiosity, I'm about to pull up our board from last year just to see where Jamar Chase actually ended up going.
Second round.
Season. Second round is very
because all you guys were scared because y'all thought he was going to hold out. Remember that? Jamar's not going to play this year. He's not going to play for the contract.
Yeah.
And I kept telling y'all stupid. He's going to play.
At the 204. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting at the 204. I believe that since, and then the very next wide receiver that went after that was me taking Puka Nacua. And I'm pretty sure that
I took Tyreek at the 4th spot.
I'm pretty sure I cursed you out for taking
Sixers, so like Baylor guard VJ Edgecombe. They still can't even do shit right.
But Sixers just made a pick?
Yeah.
The wrong pick, I'm presuming?
They should have just picked Bailey. I don't care if he didn't want to play there or not.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Jamar Chase dropped. The very next pick after Jamar Chase was Anthony Richardson, which is absolutely insane. But second round, 2 QB league. We didn't know then what we knew about Anthony Richardson now. And it's going to be the same this year. There's a lot of things that we're going into this draft thinking we know, and the answers are just going to flip. You know, there's a lot of variables. There's 2 months worth of variables that are still coming our way before we
JK making
draft.
that mistake again this year.
Yeah, he had a rough one last year, man.
He was a losing season last year for him, right?
Yeah, he had a rough time. That might have been
the crazy part. He was still
worst.
in it, and the 4 and 8 teams were in it all the way up until the end.
And it's always like that. That last spot is going to be open
that
to
last
whoever
spot
can
was
just clean it up. If there's one team that can clean it up and you can stumble and fumble your way across that finish line, anything can happen. Because this league that we're talking about right here, the first and the second
Joel
seed
ended up being that last
still
seed.
means something. The first and the second
Didn't
seed.
Joel beat somebody in the first round too?
The first and the second seed give you the bye still. A lot of these leagues don't have that anymore. But in this league, you get the first seed, you get the second seed, you get yourself an extra week to prepare. But you're 3 versus the 6, 4 versus the 5. Standard NFL playoffs in this league. You know,
Joel made it. He snuck in. And if I'm not mistaken, he beat somebody.
Gabe. Joel made it, beat Gabe, then you beat Joel, right?
Yo, hold on. Let me see.
I beat Danny.
League history.
I don't know if it's going to show the playoffs from last year though. It's just going to show me as the champion because I won it. You know what I mean? So you're going to see my picture on there, but it's not going to show the entire playoff picture. I don't believe.
No, it doesn't.
Right? It does that in Sleeper. That's one cool thing I like about Sleeper. I'm kind of glad that we're doing this Dynasty League on the Sleeper.
He beat Gabe first round, and Gabe had Barkley, Lamar Jackson,
he was
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Gabe was not happy about that. He was sick.
Then I routed
Gabe was having a good season. Gabe was the top of the league basically.
And Gabe lost the first round bye because he lost in the last weekend of the regular season.
Yep. And
which then gave Mikey.
It took him out of that. It took him out of there, and he ended up losing it. Who just hit a home run for you?
Thomas from Chicago.
Lane Thomas.
Oh, maybe it was Lane Thomas. Yeah.
Right, Lane Thomas.
Roberts.
From
like
in Guardians.
Yeah, I picked him up off the waivers.
Your waiver ads have saved you. Like Pete Crow Armstrong. I talk about Pete Crow Armstrong every day to others. It's like I can't believe I did that. Like I made this.
What a great season, bro! I had last year just to lose.
Tucker hit a home run.
Bro, the biggest blowout was week 14, where I ended Jake's any hope he had of trying to sneak in. 296 to 147.
Sixers drafted another guard from the Bahamas. Yeah, wasn't that a top 3 pick? It was the Sixers picking 3rd, right? And they picked another guard. But realistically, what else are they gonna pick? What are they gonna do? You know, like let's be real here.
They should have picked Bailey.
For no reason at all. I've always been an OKC fan. Not saying that for any particular reason, just saying. Real smooth, Sean. Real smooth. And a great way for you to
That's like somebody saying I've always been a Yankees fan.
Great segue to remind me that, now that we're on the subject of basketball, we were talking about teams that can't draft, and now we're going to talk about a team that can draft, and it's the Oklahoma City Thunder winning their championship, closing out their story. A team that I believe won 60 games last year.
The insider says that Sixers intend to trade VJ Edgecombe.
Great. For what?
Oh, God.
So, anyway, enough about the Sixers. OKC, SGA, the Thunder made it happen. Sam Presti, with the group of guys that he got together, they won themselves a championship. Now the question is, you're hearing the terms dynasty getting thrown around, this, that, and the third. It ain't as easy to just build something like that. It's not easy to build something like what we saw with the Spurs, what we saw with the Lakers. Now, this OKC team has a very, very bright future ahead of them and a crap load of draft picks that they can use, whether it be in trades, whether it be in drafts, because they can actually draft. But we all know once you are officially one of those teams that get to the top, that win the championship, it gets harder to keep that core group together. Things just happen. You start having superstars that, ownership starts looking in different directions, saying to themselves, we can attract this. Now we can do this. Winning a championship opens a lot of doors. And sometimes for teams, it can sort of taint the identity of what got them there in the first place. You know what I mean? OKC now stops being the underdog. They stop being the young. Well, they're still young. They stop being the team that was stockpiling draft picks for this moment. Now the moment is here, and it's a matter of, okay, are you going to sell off all your draft picks? Or are you going to continue to draft and build your team through the draft and kind of, I guess, avoid spending the money? And what becomes of some of the role players on this team that helped get to this point? The Jalen Williams, the Quentin Dorts, the Carusos, how many of those guys are you going to be able to keep together in order to flush out this roster so that you can go into your next season and defend your championship, because next year you go from being the underdog to, being the target for a lot of the teams on the Western side that are going to try to, take you off the top of the hill. Oh, they are absolutely set up. They have great picks for next year's draft. The draft after that, like, Sam Presti has done a phenomenal job with this basketball team.
I'm just trying to figure out how Presti was allowed to do that, but Hickey couldn't.
For what?
For the Sixers, how they hurried up, stepped in, and let's get Colangelo in here and this and that.
Well, because your organization is a dysfunctional mess, and OKC is run like a good organization. That's why they win.
They were allowed to tank well. They were allowed to tank. They got the tanking. They hit on their picks, and this is where they're at.
Yeah. They tanked the right way. They didn't use tanking as this is the excuse why we're not good. It's because we're tanking. No, we're actually tanking for a reason. And this is them showing you this is why we're tanking. This was why this was trust the process, the real trust the process. You know what I mean? Not selling hope in a jar. This was reality of a young team You started to see it in the bubble because this OKC team took Houston to 7 games and SGA was out there making plays. And I said to myself, okay, like that team's coming. And every year from there, they got better, they got better, they got better. Last year, 60-win season. They were ahead of their time. You knew that they were going to hit a wall. I thought they were going to hit another wall this year. I didn't expect for them to really go all the way. I said to myself, they're going to get stopped in the playoffs eventually. They beat the brakes off of everybody to get to this point. You can't complain about tanking when you're a Sixers fan. Oscar complaining.
We didn't tank to the fullest.
You tanked when you didn't have to. You just, but anywho, OKC got the job done.
And on top of that, find the tight end too.
On Sunday, I was too busy at a barbecue, playing some cornhole, watching some baseball. So I was tracking the NBA game. I was not actually watching Game 7, but I was keeping tabs on it. Heard about the Halliburton injury. It freaking sucks. You know, I mean, big injury and Achilles. There's chance.
Sucks. He's probably done the whole year.
We talk about what's next for the Thunder, and then we could talk about on the flip side what's next for the Pacers, and it might not be a year like we had this year when you're talking about your main player having an Achilles injury and how much time he's going to miss because of that.
I think all 3 of them players should not play next year. I don't think Lillard. I don't think Tatum. And I don't think Halliburton should play at all next year.
Yeah, the status of Tatum is interesting also because of the fact that Boston has been probably the busiest.
Unloading the hell out of their team.
Making moves, making deals. There's rumor and innuendo of a potential Jaylen Brown trade. So, I mean, I don't know how true that is, but where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, Derek White, who would have thought?
Derek White's so good. I would love him.
I like the trade that they made with Portland to bring Anthony Simons in. I like that move for Boston.
Yeah, what was Portland?
They got the best player with the most potential.
Poor Chancey Billups.
From a team.
Just when he thinks he's getting his team going,
here we go.
Literally,
the little.
They hit the reset button.
Whatever. If the Portland Trailblazers had any type of spark, it was Anthony Simons.
Well, that spark's gone.
And that spark
traded it for an old man named Drew Holiday.
It is gloomy, and there's no light working.
Bro, they dumped all the cash on them. Like, that's crazy.
Beautiful.
Who thought that was a great deal in that facility?
Fleeced them. You got rid of the older player and got the younger player. That's not even in his prime. That can do whatever you need him to do. You can mold Anthony Simons into being the next diamond.
Yep.
Like,
if I'm Chauncey Billups, I'm just looking like, dude,
what a move.
What do I got to do to get you to keep people here?
What a move. They pretty much said everybody available except Tatum. We don't even know when Tatum himself is going to be available to freaking play, but
my man Brad Stevens stopped being the coach. He got his championship as an exec, said, the hell with this. Blow it up.
Maybe he's trying to.
He also realizes Tatum's not going to play next year. So let me unload some stuff. If I have a down year, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to pick in the top 3 to pair a future star with Jason Tatum. Oof.
Well, you really think about it. The Celtics are a more advanced version of OKC. Celtics did this before. Stockpiling picks, drafting. And now they've reached the Brooklyn Nets. They've reached the point where that team is a little older, and now they're at a point where they're selling. So how long before OKC gets to that point? Or do they? You know what I mean? Like, that could potentially happen. Like, what we're seeing with Boston right now could be that when people ask about the Thunder, like, what's next for the Thunder, Celtics could be a couple years, like, ahead of where we see the Thunder.
Bro, I heard
in a couple years.
Jokic could be available. Like, the NBA is going crazy right now.
Yeah, it could be a pretty interesting. I mean, last couple off seasons weren't that interesting to me, but
I think
this one could be a good one.
I think the NBA realizes that we need to be more of a talk of the town because football is not even in its course right now. More people are talking about football than they're talking about the NBA.
This is an opportunity for the NBA to be able to steal some headlines while they can, because the closer that we get to August, like it's you got us for now, so make it good, because in a couple of weeks
you're not even going to take over baseball, because baseball's still going to be running up.
Baseball's been good. Baseball's been good. Or maybe I'm just having fun with it, just watching it and fucking tracking it, betting on it, whatever the case. Charlotte Hornets select Con Newpel with number
the
4
Nuggets GM
overall
said
pick.
without saying Jokic is on the table.
Rangers, Jacob DeGrom has no hit the O's through 7 innings in Baltimore. We are in a no-hit watch right now between the Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles as we are here live for On the Money podcast, breaking it down, some of the things going on in free agency
Drew
for the
didn't reach
NBA.
the innings pitched and lost every category of that game?
What?
Is that how that works?
If you don't reach your required innings pitched, you will lose every pitching category.
Wow,
If he
was winning.
If he didn't reach his innings pitched, that means that he lost that shit. That's sad because it's only 30 innings, guys. The bar's low for a reason, so that everybody can do it.
Ouch.
I didn't even see that. I didn't notice.
I don't think because Terrell said it.
I was too busy, beating Surge, getting myself a good week so that I can move forward and push myself. I need O'Hearn to get a hit. Yeah, I almost took him for a dinger today, but I chose not to.
Ooh,
it was the Nuggets GM that said that Jokic was on the table. That's interesting. Sell him now while you can get something for him. But then, damn, it's gonna be tough for Denver. It's gonna be some dark days ahead for the Denver Nuggets without Jokic. And then the question of where would he actually go?
Save the day.
Like, where would Jokic end up?
Let's see the league.
Does he stay in the West? Like, that would be Minnesota. Like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine him not being in Denver. I know it happens. It's a league. Like,
he lost every category to Mikey. Mikey beat him. Mikey broke his streak. He missed it by 2 outs.
Damn, Drew. Wow. That could have been one of his guys getting pulled. Or maybe, I don't know. Still, though. Last week, I had like 80-something innings. Cat for Joker. There goes Matt. Cat for Joker, straight up. Cat getting paid $50 million a year. Drew had 27 innings. Jeez. That's rough. Hey, get your categories, bro. Next year, I'll be adding more. I'm going with the odd number, too. I'm going with the odd numbers so that we can hopefully eradicate these ties forever. And there can be a clear, decisive winner. The records are going to look crazy. That's such a Matt trade. Yeah, Cat for Joker. Classic Matt.
Yep.
Sorry.
This is why Matt gets placed on the do not trade list.
You're stuck with Joker, bro. Stuck with Joker. You're stuck with Cat, bro. Nobody's going to want him. Nobody's going to want that contract. And whoever your new head coach is, which today I saw on Sleeper that now Jason Kidd wants to be the coach of the New York Knicks.
Matt wonders why he gets left on red.
That's the beauty of
Matt's the only guy that got 8 quarterbacks in a single quarterback league.
We are heading into...
And thinks every one of those quarterbacks has worked for first-round pick.
It's been a blast this offseason. People sending whatever they want to whoever they want, but we are getting close to nut-cutting time.
Shout out to my guy, Alexi, for standing his ground on what he wants.
It's about to be July. It's about to be August. And it's about to be the time of the year where some of these deals and offers start to become more honest than they've ever been. Because when the season starts and we're getting through September and October and you're looking at your 1-4, 1-5 roster, you're going to have to say to yourself, what am I doing this year? Do I own my own pick? No. So I'm going to have to either compete or I'm going to have to try to figure out how to make some moves.
That trade.
Chris needs
what
to
trade?
accept
The
my
trade that I banged out. I own this year's first round, bro. After this season, Matt, you're going to be offering me Jamar Chase for one of my running backs. That's how good one of my running backs are going to be.
Is that what you're going to do, Matt? You're going to offer Jamar Chase up?
You're going to have no choice. You know how many people are going to be wanting one of my running backs after this season's over? They're going to be knocking on my door, and I'm just going to laugh at them. Like, nah.
Not available?
Nope.
You're not going to sell your young running backs at all?
Nope.
Interesting.
I have the potential of having 3 of the top 10 fantasy running backs of the next 5 years on my team. That's crazy. So everybody's 30-year-old running back is getting shown the door. They're not getting touches. My guys are still 22, 23, 24, 25.
We knew that running back was going to be crucial. We knew that we were getting running backs in this draft, and that
what were we told about this draft?
League needed everybody needed running backs going into this draft. So if you didn't get your running back in this draft, you're probably not going to survive this year in the playoffs. Just accept it, Chris. What's the deal, Chris? Show us.
What is the trade offer?
What's the trade offer, Chris?
Because
I want to know how great this is.
It seems to me like he's just not getting any deal done. So now I got to start to believe it's him and his negotiations.
Mikey needs a wide receiver. Mikey needs a tight end. Mikey needs, he needs a lot of shit right now. We're getting close to nut cutting time.
The drizzling shit.
I want to know if my buddy is going to be able to get what he needs, or if he is going to really be trotting Otten. You're going to be trotting Kate Otten out there.
Tight end one.
Tell them, Chris. What did that man offer you? Because I know Mike D has been working OT on trade negotiations today, negotiating with some of the most complicated individuals. Bugging me for all summer. Hey, I've left you alone recently. That's in fairness, I've started playing MLB The Show online. So I've just been playing a lot of baseball, and I haven't really been focused on my dynasty team like that. Plus, I made all the moves I wanted to make about 2 months ago when everybody was telling me, no, I'm chilling. I'm good where I'm at. Oh, I'm good. I'm just waiting for the draft. I have everything I need. And now here we are, post-draft, and guys need wide receiver twos. Guys need tight end ones. What's going on? I thought everybody was cool, as cool as the other side of the pillow, right? Everybody had what they needed.
I know. I haven't been in a single negotiation.
I haven't talked to anybody about anything.
Oscar,
I've left everybody alone.
I just want to know the truth.
Trade negotiations today, how awful were they? I know the details of the trade, and I'm not going to sit here and bash the attempt at the deal. I'm not going to sit here and call it a good deal. I don't know, Mikey calls it a good deal. I'm not going to do that.
Well, now we got a second party involved that he's been negotiating that's saying no. So
All Spring sounds about right. All Spring sounds pretty accurate.
So is Mikey turning in the mat?
I'm not going to bash Mikey because he was going after somebody that I was going after.
With the same person?
I was going after the same person that he was going after.
With Chris or
no,
on Alex's
with
team?
Alex, with Alexi. But I mean, it sounds like to me my offer was kind of better than what Mikey was offering. I still got declined, and I feel like I put more on the table than what Mikey was offering for that same player. But
knock my socks off.
That's that's the type of response that you give when you are happy with the roster you have and you are really not looking to move anybody because you made all your moves. Alexi made a shit ton of trades. He made a lot of deals. He was wheeling and dealing as much, if not more, than I was when I was in the middle of wheeling and dealing. Like,
he's even made a couple minor moves after the draft too.
Yeah, I made two or three of my deals, two for sure that I can remember. Brock Bowers, Rashad White. Those were deals that I made with him. We couldn't work another deal out because his asking price and what I'm willing to pay, it's just not matching up. You know what I mean? So that's one of the. If we can match it, I'm willing to work it.
Trades. You fleeced one person, and now you think that every trade has to be always in your favor now.
Neither offer was bad from either of you, but I think I need to be wined and dined just a little more. Well, you know what? For that player, I get it.
You know what?
I get it. I respect it for that player. I'm not mad at that.
I think some shrimp mofongo could do it.
Shrimp mofongo? We finally get some mofongo. Whoever serves it up gets the deal done. That's collusion, brother.
I think the mofongo can get it done.
All right.
But you got to make sure you get it from where he likes it.
I think
greedy.
I'm going to present my top 5 list. I'm going to start with the skill position players, since we're on the subject of fan. And this is more. Again, these are the players that I feel like are going to end up like when you look back on the season, like who ended up with the most fantasy points. How we do our G Money Award in our league. Whatever skill player winds up with the most fantasy points, you get the G Money Award trophy. So these are the guys that I feel like are just going to be the highest scorers. In no particular order. With
Extra
the top
shrimp and
four.
garlic sauce.
That sounds good. So for what I offered, I won and dined, and you know the rest. Mikey,
were you offering dessert?
Mikey always thinks that he offered enough.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like I said earlier, the people who are being difficult with negotiations, maybe they'll be a little bit more easy to deal with when their team is struggling. Maybe Mikey will be willing to pay a little more.
If he's 1-4, I think he'll be more willing to make some moves.
You know, you want a wide receiver, you go pay for a wide receiver.
When you get to 1-4, you start getting ready to make moves because you can't go 1-5, make the playoffs. But if you go 2-4 to 3-4, or 2-5, then to 3-5 is a lot more doable.
You can't want lobster, you know, if you're just
willing
to pay for Hot Pockets.
You want a big difference.
So you don't need a wide receiver, you just want it?
Yep.
That's going to be interesting. He's going to be a fun storyline to follow throughout the season.
The drizzling shit.
Because I know he's going to be very active this year trying to turn this thing around. And the big question about who he has at the helm with C.J. Stroud. Is C.J. Stroud going to be able to turn things around? And B,
I got a hot take, Stroud.
Bro. Drop it. Let's hear it.
I got a hot take on a quarterback that's probably on a couple of your guys' lists for top 5 fantasy, outputs that I don't think is going to have that great year everybody thinks he's going to have. That I could see him having a C.J. Stroud where the team still wins in spite of his mistakes or he's not flashy. That's Jaden Daniels.
Oh, interesting.
I do not think Jaden Daniels is going to replicate his rookie season.
You don't think he'll be able to match that?
I think he's going to take a step back.
Very, very interesting.
And I'm going to stand down that hill. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on this show and say I was wrong. But you know what? Last year, I was singing the praises of Stroud, and I looked like a fool. Something tells me this year that, so all you guys that want to pick Daniels ahead of me, go for it. He's not on my radar.
I will, because I will respectfully disagree with you. I think Jaden Daniels is actually on one of my lists.
See?
I think
that's my hot take. Write it down. Take a picture. Put it with screenshot it with me telling I'll shave my beard and the Steelers get 12 wins.
I think that there can definitely be an opportunity for regression because of the fact that this kind of falls along the same lines as what potentially happened to C.J. Stroud. Year 2, film, injury, inconsistency.
The only thing that could probably save him fantasy-wise is his legs, like rushing touchdowns.
And that is why I feel like he's going to be okay. But that's all you need. That's more than that's it. That's all you need.
He's going to be like a Jalen Hurts then.
If you have a quarterback that's getting you 700 to 800 rushing yards, yeah, I'm taking that, and I'm winning the league. Like I will be fine.
I feel like he's not going to be as explosive as he was last year.
Maybe not, but maybe he'll throw the ball more. You know, maybe he'll throw
That's my hot take.
Maybe he'll get that football down the field a little bit more. Who knows? Who knows? What if they end up signing Micah Parsons? What if Parsons reunites with Quinn out in Washington? Like, what if that happens? You know? What does that do for the trajectory of this football team, taking them to the next level? He loves Dan Quinn. I know everybody's saying, Philly this, Philly that when he becomes a free agent. He has not signed or re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys. He is entering his final season, right? This is Micah Parsons' last year.
Yeah.
If I'm Washington, you have that connection there with Dan Quinn. Use it. This is what it's all about. This is what it means to have connections. To make a power move like this within the division, ripping him away from the Dallas Cowboys and bringing him into what you've got going on. Yeah, absolutely. The rushing upside is there. That's what I feel like will save him if he has a bit of a slump. But we've seen the sophomore slumps, bro. It happens to people. It happens to people when you least expect it to happen to them. Once defenses have adjusted to you and you don't make that adjustment back, it can can look a little rough out there, you know. And also, you're going to be playing a tougher schedule. You're going to be playing more contenders. You're going to be challenged more. So, the level of intensity is gonna definitely go up a few notches for Washington.
That's my hot take, and I'm standing by it.
I ain't mad at it. What up, all? We happy with our run game planning today? What's going on, Chris? So, my top 5. I got Jamar Chase. I got Jahmyr Gibbs. I've got Justin Jefferson. I've got CeeDee Lamb. And then I was very torn between these next two, so I kind of put them together because I feel better about the wide receiver than I do about the running back in this situation. But I think both are going to have great years. I've got Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson. What I can realistically see happening is people drafting him expecting top 5 finish and getting a top 10 to 12 finish, which isn't bad, but not what you drafted for him. So he won't be the value pick. He's not a value pick anymore. You have to pay for Jaden Daniels. And, I'm not saying that he's going to be able to match the numbers that he had last year. He could probably still put up good numbers, but kind of to the point that Mikey's making here, top 10 to 12 finish compared to a top 5 finish. And all of a sudden, quarterbacks drafted around him in that same league are, those other fill in the gaps of the top 10, top 7, top 5, whatever the case is, and end up outperforming him. And that could potentially hold you back from winning a fantasy football championship, is that slight regression. It could be just enough.
Oh, yeah.
It could be just enough, And I'm not sitting here saying, hey, I'm taking Jaden Daniels number 1 or number 2 overall. But would I be shocked if he went number 2 or number 3? No. As soon as Josh Allen is off the board, I feel like he's fair game. That's it.
Lamar Jackson?
There's a conversation to be had there as far as which direction do you pivot
Lamar
to.
Jackson's
with
now gone
or Jaden.
2 years without getting injured?
This is true.
You start to think to yourself, like, shit, is this the year I take him and bloop, bloop?
That can happen with anybody. That's the risk you take with any
player
that you put on the board. It's just we have more of an awareness of those with injury history, and it's
like
used
Barkley.
against them.
The Barkley one scares me because I think Barkley's going to get picked high again too this year because last year, and
I don't think I'm willing to pay that price because I don't think that he's going to be able to put up 2,000 yards again. I don't think you're going to. It's very, very hard to duplicate what he did last year. That was history last year. And at 27 years old,
and that is why he is not on your top 5 list.
He is an honorable mention, but he is not on my top 5 list. And right next to his name, as you can see right there, I wrote Madden because we still have to.
Respect.
We still have to keep tabs.
You have to respect the Madden.
Yeah, like we still have to respect the Madden cover situation for now until we see otherwise. Lamar and Allen are bona fide fantasy QBs. You take them no matter what, whatever happens, you deal with it. Oh yeah. I don't think anybody's walking out of a draft if they have Lamar or Josh Allen and they're sad. They got the guy that they wanted, literally. I mean, those are some of the first QB names that will go off the board in the 1 QB leagues. Those are probably, definitely in our leagues where we play with our guys. Those are the 2 top 4 quarterbacks. Because I know you're a Lamar Jackson guy. I'm a Lamar Jackson guy. Like Henry does, he can be in a Sandler movie. Oh yeah, there's like an incentive if Henry.
You got to hit 2,000 yards.
Yeah, if Henry.
Which I think he's still gonna put him in a movie.
Henry will probably do maybe like 1,400, 15. I don't see him putting
Dillon, what's this
year. That's a lot. 14, 15 at 31 years old, 32 years old is still pretty awesome. But now, my honorable mentions. These are some of the guys that I feel like can crack the top 5. And again, I'm basing it off of fantasy points, fantasy production. Ashton Genty, which right now, there's conversations. Pete Carroll's coming out and saying this is a committee, yada, yada, yada. That's how it's going to be as it starts out, but things can change. So long-term, Ashton Genty. Maybe he's more of like a 2026 play. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Saquon Barkley, who we already discussed, Brian Thomas Jr., And even though he's dealing with kind of an injury right now, I've got Malik Neighbors on here. I feel like he has that capability to be someone special. And also, there's no real competition for him for target-wise. Like, you got a solid running back. You got some decent young tight ends. But as far as wide receivers go, it's Malik Neighbors and then everybody else. So he's going to be the primary target. He's going to be the guy getting targeted 12, 13 times a game. And he's going to have the opportunity to really like put up some numbers and get you fantasy points, even if it's not looking pretty in some games where they may be losing or whatever the case is. You know, garbage time is a beautiful thing for us. So, yeah, Genty, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. Do you feel like there's any name that could potentially be missing from this list? Remember, this is just skill position, not the TQB.
Nah, I think you're right.
I had Brock Bowers on here, but then I crossed him out because I feel like
that's the one I'm shocked about.
I feel like tight ends have like a cap to an extent in this situation because the top tight end in your fantasy league is not going to outscore the top wide receiver in your fantasy league. You know what I mean? Like the top,
you never know,
3 or 4 wide receivers in your league.
Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez.
I mean, but that's basically like, okay, that would be me saying if Brock Bowers gets hyper targeted by Geno Smith this year, then you could add Brock Bowers to my honorable mentions list. But I crossed him out because I compared him to some of the lists I have on here: CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Gibbs, Chase, and I don't know if he's gonna put those numbers up. If he does, that's great. I'll be happy. I'll be the first one cheering. But
we know,
I crossed them off, and then on the other side, for the 2 QB league, I've got Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels. I had Jalen Hurts. I kept them there. I have Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, the only skill player that made it onto the QB's list. And I added another QB to this list, and I put him right alongside Jalen Hurts because I couldn't make up my mind about which one I wanted to add. So I added them both. Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott's going to light it up for fantasy football. He's going to chuck the ball. I didn't think about him right away, but when I saw Mikey give me his list, I thought about it, and I said to myself, you know what? This makes a lot of sense. Dak Prescott, healthy, is going to potentially be able to go off with the weapons that he has around him. And again, in situations where Dallas could potentially be losing, I don't think Dallas is – I don't know. I don't know what Dallas is going to be this year, but there's potential for an 8-9 season over there.
I still think he finishes in the top 5.
Because of the fact that things are going to be a little weird, it's going to be a lot of Dak Prescott throwing that rock no matter what, just airing it out. Like picture that Falcons game from a few years back where he went crazy. Him and then they ended up winning that game after they were down. He just aired it out. We were at your brother-in-law's house watching that shit.
Crazy.
That was crazy. Mikey, his top 5 fantasy QBs, he's got Lamar Jackson, he's got Josh Allen, he's got Jaden Daniels, he's got Bo Nix, and he's got Dak Prescott. The Bo Nix pick was spicy. That was interesting because that's one that we could definitely, that could be a thing. He could end up being a top 5, top 6 quarterback this year. Honorable mentions are CJ Stroud, Drake May. Top 5 skill players for fantasy. He's got Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Jahmyr Gibbs. And in his honorable mentions, he's got Puka, Jettas, and BTJ. That was Mikey's list right there. What are you thinking? How do you? Who's your top 5?
Puka's in there, huh?
For me, I got him in there with Bijan. I think Puka's gonna have a great year this year. I think that having Devontae Adams next to him is going to be great for him. It's not going to hurt Devontae. Devontae's going to be a great wide receiver too on that team. And as long as Puka stays healthy, I think Puka's going to eat, dog. I just think the only wide receivers that I'll take over him at this point are Jamar, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb.
I would say my
St.
top
Brown.
5 are crazy.
It's all right.
Jamar Chase, Jetta, Josh Allen, Brock Bowers, and I'm going to say...
This is for 1 QB?
Yeah.
Okay. Josh Allen.
I got one for you. I know it was a down year last year, but I don't think it's going to be a down year this year. The Cheetah.
Tyreek Hill comes back.
I think Cheetah's given us a nice season this year.
Interesting. Could happen.
Honorable mentions, I got Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and Trey McBride, because I think he's another guy that could be having the points of fantasy points of equivalent to a wide receiver.
If Kyler can just get him in the end zone, bro, do you imagine how many points Trey McBride would have on top of what he was doing, slashing across the field? Like, if he can just get a couple touchdowns added to that, his fantasy scores would look. McBride could end up being tight end 1 this year.
Yes,
like he could be the number 1 tight end.
100% correct.
Like, that's his ceiling, number 1.
I think after you look at the top 5, 6 wide receivers, I could see Brock Bowers and Trey McBride finishing with what a wide receiver 7 or 8 would finish. So who's to say they can't get to 5 in the top 5 of those stats?
They could.
And Dak Prescott, with the addition of George Pickens, as much as a head case he is, it's still going to translate into some yardage, man. It's going to translate into some serious yardage. It's going to open up things even for, when they're double teaming CD, Pickens is going to have one-on-one opportunities, but he needs to be focused and understand that this could be it for him. This could be another situation where if you don't get it right, bro, no one's going to pay you what you should be getting paid. Just concentrate on football. Like, he had a football camp scheduled in Pittsburgh next month.
Yeah.
Even after he got traded, he gave his word to these people that he was still going to be there because they paid him for this. And now all of a sudden, I'm not going. Like, what's that about, bro?
You got the money, though?
I don't know about that.
How's that going to work?
Like, what's your word mean to people now? You know what I mean? Like, now you got, luckily Pat Fryer moved to save the day. But a lot of those kids wanted to go see George Pickens regardless he was in a Steelers jersey or not.
That's tough to do, though. Once you get traded, you're on a different team. Like, you're representing a different organization. It's like, that can be a little trivial. But still, if you, as a man, that was your word.
Yep.
Keep your word.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word.
And you're doing it for the kiddos.
And I don't break them for anyone.
Yeah. And you're doing it for the kiddos, so just, But, I mean, we already know what type of guy he is.
Yeah. So regardless of the situation,
it's a head case.
He's going to have opportunities to help lighten things up for Prescott to put up some big numbers. And when they're worried about those two guys, you got Ferguson, you got, and you got,
Tolbert is a pretty good.
You got Javonte Williams now on that team that he can dump the ball off to on a screen pass. That, guess what, screen passes count for yardage too.
There is no scenario where the Cowboys won't be throwing the ball, because if the run game fails them this year, that just means more Dak launching that down the field. And, them in situations where they need each and every win. Like, if the Cowboys make it, they're going to be scratching and clawing every step of the way.
At least he's not one for murder. He's AB. He's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Is he still on the run?
I have no idea. I know he just declared bankruptcy again.
Oh, they do it like Michael Scott?
Chapter 11.
Did he go about it the right way?
This dude made over $100 million in his career, and he's going into bankruptcy because athletes just don't know how to stop spending.
Well, he went bankrupt because of his rap career. Probably spent a lot of money on a terrible,
I got a whole lot of money.
Brooke Hogan.
A whole lot of money.
Like, he's no different than Brooke Hogan. Terrible artist. And they put a lot of money into
Brooke got her dad
career.
Broke.
Yeah.
To the point where dad's now doing freaking beer licensing and karaoke bars and stuff.
It's rough. Tough times. Ugh. He can go make a little money.
I think those two tight ends, man, let me tell you. Oh, if he could get cleared, he would do it in a heartbeat, I think.
I should send him out there. Yo, that video you tagged me in was crazy. Oh, but that shit was so funny, dude.
I knew
if
you
they
popped.
open the show with that, bro. Oh man, I will be watching. I'll be tuned in on Saturday morning. We're getting Jayla's party together. We're having a birthday party on Saturday. But in the morning, before we hit up Favorita, pick up some platters and everything, I'm going to be tuned in to see what this looks like because I need to see for myself what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I can't believe they didn't cancel it.
But
why should it used to be all about Vince, but Vince ain't there now. Who you blaming?
He's not there, but this company, like always, it feels like they are just literally living their own universe with the shit that they do, and it just makes you. Because when you really think about it, going out to Afghanistan in 2003 was pretty wild. Like, women weren't even allowed on the show. Remember that?
When they first did the Saudi Arabia shows back in, 2017, 2018? Those were wild. And then, like you said, back in the day when they started doing the tribute for the troops and how scary those situations got.
Like, real shit, right now, if you're one of their husbands or wives.
Remember Saudi Arabia's leader wasn't supposedly paying them for their services, and Vince cut the feeds off on their pay-per-view channels and all that.
And they got stuck there.
And they tried to make it seem like,
bro. The wrestlers didn't know why they were stuck, though.
Brock Lesnar was gone.
The wrestlers didn't know why they were stuck. Can you imagine? They're out there knowing all this shit that's going on. Or imagine being married to them and they're saying, like, we're going to Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia Saturday. It's like, you're not going.
The Revival, who go by FTR now, AEW, were the ones saying, like, yo, nobody was telling us shit. He goes, I'm calling my wife, telling her, I don't know, something's wrong.
Like, bro, you're not going to Saudi Arabia. As simple as that. We got kids. Like, you're not going. Sorry. There's no way.
I get it.
That's crazy. Right now, you kidding me? For what? What are you going to give us out there? Like, what's actually going to happen? Is it going to be worth my time to even tune in? Don't sacrifice all these people for a shit show.
I mean, Cena's promo Friday night was pretty good.
It was good. I didn't like how long CM Punk was laying there, but it was good.
Yeah, and the same
I thought that was weird.
Well, I was like, damn, did Punk fall asleep?
That didn't make sense to me. Like, why is he still laying there?
Why didn't nobody roll him out? Take him to the back. And now there's a table spot every week with this stupid ass
why didn't he get up?
Gym promotion.
Like, why did he not get up from that table?
I mean, Saudi Arabia is doing a lot of things to get people to come there. And quite honestly, it's actually a safe place to be. Like, you're not going to get robbed. As long as you follow their rules, they don't mess with you. Because out there, you get caught stealing, bro, this is biblical. They're cutting your hand off. Mm-hmm. They're going old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why, and honestly, if you look at what they've done with their nightlife, like their buildings, like everything they've done, it's beautiful. But then you have things like this that did transpire this past weekend. We're not making this a political show. We're just stating the obvious of what happened.
We're explaining how it affects things that are happening.
Yeah, like...
And the lives of people who... It's like, I feel as though the right thing... But again, we're talking about the same company that when Owen Hart fell from the rafters and he died...
Had a blood spot in the corner of the ring.
Right in front of all those people, they said the show must go on. And they had those wrestlers go out there after seeing what they just saw. And you can see as they're walking out, like they're messed up, bro. Like they are messed up.
The Undertaker's eyes are bloodshot red.
Hey, he just finished crying, dude.
Yeah, he's holding it in from crying. Paul Bearer is emotional wreck. Yeah. Steve Austin is an emotional wreck, and him and Hart didn't even get along.
This company has never handled any of these things well.
Just go back and watch those shows, man.
They've never handled any of this well. And the following night, what do? They double down and they make it an Owen Hart tribute show and force all of them to talk about it. Day after Chris Benoit died, and they find out what happened. Everybody's doing a Chris Benoit tribute. Oh, wait, we just found out what he actually did. But we already did a tribute show.
You will never see that again on my show.
You know?
Like
they botched these situations in a major way where it's just like, bro.
I get that when the Chris Benoit thing happened, he actually did the right thing and canceled the show. Like, that was the first time I was like, oh, shit. And then it turned into a tribute. Like, bro, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and they're just starting this whole tribute show, and I'm watching CNN at the same time. And CNN's starting to say they're starting to allude to a murder-suicide. So then I'm like, oh, shit. So before that show's over, we're getting information that Benoit killed his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
And they're still going on right now talking about, I remember he made a rookie do 50 jumping jacks for disrespecting Shawn Michaels.
It was bad. That was bad. When the second shoe fell, as far as that story, and more came out, that was a wild time. I remember that, bro.
It was crazy.
Still crazy to this day.
That's why I don't think they should be doing this show this week.
But I haven't heard anything otherwise.
God forbid.
I haven't heard anything about them not doing it.
I get there's a temporary ceasefire now that they're both abiding by. But regardless, bro, there was no ceasefire yet, and they still sent their crew out there who got stuck at the freaking airport out there.
Triple H, with all his talk of, like, you know, family and giving wrestlers the time off that they need and family, right? Like, all that talk. And now, like, isn't that where this comes into play? Oh, wait, the money aspect that trumps family.
Maybe it might be above him. Maybe it's TKO that's forcing this.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know, TKO, bro, they're freaking ruining this. They really are.
This is a 6-match
They've raised prices on freaking cards. They've priced the everyday person who actually loves wrestling out of going to shows. Everything's about profit to them. And I get it, you're a business, but damn, dude.
Yeah.
I don't make that kind of money to be sitting there spending. Like, you're nuts.
Yeah, there's people that, you know, like we talked about that yesterday. Like, well, not yesterday, last week. You know, people who bust their ass to make ends meet, to provide for their families, to pay bills at their house, the money that they have, a little bit left for their kids who are fans. They want to be able to take them to shows, and they don't know when they're going to be able to do that again, because you want to have these massive super show 2-night event extravaganzas that you don't need. You don't need 2 nights of SummerSlam, guys. We never needed 2 nights of SummerSlam. You
don't know who needs to hear it.
You finish stories that night. You don't need 2 nights of WrestleMania, but that's just.
And Mikey turned just dodge an occasional bomb here and there to just accept the occasional trade here and there.
Well, I mean, Mike, maybe the offer that you sent Chris is just not good enough. Like all the other offers that you've sent today, they're just simply not gonna get the needle moving.
It's not gonna get the job done.
If you want to get a deal done, you're gonna have to pay more.
You're still here.
He didn't go to bed yet. He's still awake, bro. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to check. He's waiting for you to check the freaking trade, bro. Just entertain it. Just entertain it. You know, just have the sidebar with him, bro. You know, throw him a bone. Maybe you can't give him that guy, but you can give him another guy. You know? Chris is actually pretty reasonable to negotiate with. I mean, compared to some of the other folks that you've been negotiating with today, they can be a little bit more difficult. Chris is actually a very reasonable.
That's so funny.
It's either yes or no. If we can work it out, we work it out. If not, cool. I'll come back around and we'll try again another time. But, you know.
That is so funny.
He's not someone that you're going to spend 4 hours scratching your head trying to figure them out. Like, you're going to either get a deal done or you're not going to get a deal done. My offers are great. Not my fault. You guys are greedy heathens. Oh. You're not greedy. You don't want more.
It's not our fault.
You don't want more for the amount that you're willing to spend. I don't know, man.
Mikey's Kevin Hart from America, from 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he's talking to the dude, and he's like, so I'm going to need that on the discount.
To me, You made the trade the day of our draft for James Cook, but you knew you already needed a wide receiver and a tight end. You had the same guys.
When I gasped for Brian Rios.
Like you had the same guys in those same spots. Like you knew those positions that you needed, and you went and you got James Cook. Trade looked good, but at the end of the day, in retrospect, would you have rather taken those 2 first-round picks and used them on wide receivers? Because we're talking about the potential for you getting Mbuka, Tet, Matthew Golden, Luther Burden. Those were all names that could have potentially been adding to your roster and potentially in your flex spot at the moment, and not a Tyrone Tracy. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's going to be able to give you a little bit more of a oomph, a little puncher's chance. Which even though right now you're ranked 5th or 6th right now, so it's like you're good. You're going to make the cut, but from there it could be a little difficult. Yeah, it could be a little difficult. I offered those picks to you for Bowers. I didn't want that shit. I'm not gonna the same offseason that I buy Brock Bowers, I'm not gonna sell Brock Bowers.
He at least wants to get a season in with him.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. I got Brock. I'm keeping Brock Bowers. None of you are getting Brock. None of you are getting Brock, and none of you are getting McBride. So you all just are gonna have to figure it out.
Tracy over Golden.
When I came knocking,
interesting.
Tyrone Tracy over Matthew Golden.
Is Tracy even going to be the starting running back when the season's over?
Mikey might.
Or is that Cam Scadabo's job?
Mikey might not have a choice but to start him. The way that lineup is looking.
Guess we're nitpicking Mike's team like we did this time last year.
I'm sorry, but it was one of the topics of the day prior to the podcast, the conversation the 3 of us were having with the negotiations, and I asked him, I was just like, you said you were fine before. What happened? Now you're on the hunt looking for these players. We could have been made a deal, bro. But you didn't want to at the time. Now you want to, and a lot of people are just comfortable with the idea of keeping the players that they have, especially the good teams.
I know I'm going to be good this year.
Drug test Mikey immediately for that Tracy Golden take.
I
don't think he believes that. I think it's just the heat of the moment. He's had a rough day of negotiations. It's hot outside.
Does your loser of the league get a copy of the Kelsey tattoo?
No.
I don't do anything of that nature.
We haven't really developed punishments like that in our leagues because all the shit talking that we do when you lose is just
exactly my point. You just proved my point, though, regardless. I wasn't getting what I needed with these picks, so I got what I wanted instead. You got James Cook and Trey Harris and Cam Scadabo.
Yeah.
And
you got Trey Harris. You got a wide receiver, so that's good.
And I got Quinshawn Junkins, Caleb Johnson.
You're asking what a rookie has proven? He hasn't played yet. He's gonna prove it this year. Tracy's proven that he could lose his job. That's what he's proven. So we could do a Matthew Golden versus Tyrone Tracy, who ends up with more fantasy points. That's fine, but like at the end of the day, I got it. What has he proven? He hasn't been in the league. I'm not asking what Tyrone Tracy has proven without him having played.
Are you trying to say that Matthew Golden is going to be another wide receiver 3 in a crowded room of wide receiver 3s?
He could do that too. I don't know, but I mean, how much better is Tyrone Tracy going to be this year than Matthew Golden? But we're talking about a situation where you're sharing the rock either way, no matter how you cut it, And if Tyrone Tracy takes over, then what does that mean for your Scadaboo pick? Either way, doesn't matter. Golden hasn't proven he can keep a job. Tracy hasn't either, though, bro. You got to give him the chance to prove it. You can't take it away from him without him having played a snap of professional football. Right now, I'll take Golden over Tracy all day. Easy.
A young stud wide receiver one on a nice team with a way better offense than Tracy. Give me Golden.
Without even thinking about it, I'll take him. I'm glad I have him. I have Golden. You have Tracy. I'm going to do better than you in Dynasty with Golden outperforming Tyrone Tracy. So, take that to the bank. But be careful. You know, you don't want to give up too much, just like a lot of your trade offers. You don't want to give up too much. But yeah, I don't even know why you're knocking Matthew Golden right now. What did he do? He didn't do anything to you.
He just needs a wide receiver.
Matthew Golden is a better wide receiver than most of the wide receivers that you have rostered right now. Matthew Golden would be in the flex spot of your dynasty team tonight if you had him. He would be right there. Who else are you going to put in there, bro?
Jeez.
Who else are you going to put in there?
Ooh.
Toma!
Toma!
Who do you have, bro? I'm telling you, bro. Khalil Shakir is only going to get you so far, my friend.
Toma!
I'm sorry. But I see why the offer was declined. I could see it. I can see it. You know? But I can also understand that you're dealing with somebody who could also be very complicated as far as wanting more. But if you're offering, if all you can offer is less, it's easy to decline shit like that, bro.
Golden would be my wide receiver 4.
Behind Shakir? I mean,
Shakir over Golden.
I guess, yeah.
They're
we could
basically
do that.
the
I'll
same
take that.
guy, though.
I'll take that. I'll take Shakir over Golden right now. I can live with that. I'm not mad at that. I like Shakir. Just, don't expect him to be that guy every single week that you need him to be.
Yeah. He disappears.
That's what it comes down to. I like Shakir. I don't fear Shakir. If I look at it,
Gabe
Shakir
Davis
across
signed
from me,
with someone already?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because Shakir got some Gabe Davis vibes too, bro. Where he'd be disappearing for some weeks.
He's good, and it looks like he's the primary target in Buffalo, just not all weeks. The primary target is Josh Allen, but like
the ball starts with Josh Allen and ends with Josh
Allen. When Shakir's healthy,
all day Shakir's in a better offense in a room that's not as crowded.
Yeah, and there's also there's not he doesn't have to deal with a Wicks and a
He's better than Keon Coleman?
Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
What has Keon Coleman proven? Hey, let's talk about it. What is Keon Coleman proven in this league? And he's had a year under his belt in this league. Yeah, I like Shakir. I like other people more, but I ain't gonna knock Khalil Shakir. Still got the NBA draft going on right now. If anybody cares, somebody by the name of Cedric Coward at number 11 to the Memphis Grizzlies. As Sleeper is giving me the each and every single update of the draft to this point. Got NBA draft, football talk, fantasy football conversation. Just planting the seeds for what is going to be a very, very fun fantasy football season. Drafts. Shakir's giving Allen 5 to 7 catches, 50 to 75 yards. Game guaranteed.
That first game he does, I'm just going to ask you, Mike, what happened?
Let's see here.
Shit. We can just go and do this. We go here. We click here.
Got him pulled up right now.
I go to NFL.
We're pulling him up.
I go to standings. Buffalo. Stats.
You were kind of accurate, but there was a massive drop off at the end of the year with the amount that he was getting. Week 13, you've got 4 catches, 30 yards. Week 14, 5 catches, 106 yards. Pretty awesome. Week 15, 6 catches for 39 yards. Week 16, 2 catches for 22 yards. Week 17, 3 catches for 25 yards. And week 18, 0 catches for 0 yards. So he's not going to be giving 5 to 7, 50 to 75 a game guaranteed. He had a massive week in that Rams game.
He had 6 games last year under 50 yards.
36 fantasy points against the Rams. He followed that up with 15 against Detroit, which is solid. And he ended the year with 4 points against New England and 5 points against the Jets. Ask me how many touchdowns he
finished with the year.
How many touchdowns did he finish with? 4? That's solid. Not nothing to be afraid of, but solid. 12,
For
12,
the
10,
year?
13, 10, 19,
Yo, he was
12.
tied 62nd in 4 touchdowns in the league. There's 62 other players that had more than him.
Mike, you could take him, pair him up with a first-round pick, and get a real wide receiver.
Yeah. Someone might bite.
Like a top 20-ish, maybe. Top 20-ish. Well, we can count week 6 where they didn't have anything locked up.
The Bills
and
only
he had
lost twice
2
all
catches,
last year, regular season.
19 yards. Week 1, he had 3 catches, 42 yards. I'm pulling up right now. I'm not picking and choosing. These are the stats, bro. Week 13, 4 catches, 30 yards. Like, you happy with 7 points in your fantasy lineup? That's you, bro. I don't give a shit. I'm not the one starting them. Doesn't matter. He's not a red zone guy. Never said he was.
Oh, stop.
That's what the problem with Mikey is. He gets more arguing done than deals done. He just wants to argue. And that's fine, because that's not going to help you get a wide receiver. That's absolutely fine. Maybe fix your attitude and come knocking, and I can help you out at some point.
That rookie receiver only had 556 receiving yards last year.
Who?
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman? Oh.
So what's he done in this league?
Shakir's better than Coleman. Coleman's done nothing. Coleman's proven nothing. Golden over Coleman. But I'll say Shakir over Coleman too. Shakir is the best wide receiver that the Buffalo Bills have. But everything all runs through Josh Allen. So maybe you should see if you can go after Josh Allen. You can stack them up. You know what I mean?
Talk to Alex.
Just start an entirely new conversation. And like everything else that happened today never happened. And be like, look, I'm interested in Josh Allen. Just let me know what's up. Shakir and 2 firsts, and I got told he needs more. So you potentially offered Shakir 2 firsts for Harrison and Penix. I can see why he can look at it and be like, oh, like, but I don't know. Like, at that point, I'm just saying, instead of saying I need more, I would probably just be like, I don't want to trade this player. Because if I have Marvin Harrison, like me personally, the way that I look at the trade market and how I look at everything, and you're offering me 2 firsts with Khalil Shakir, you already know with me, I'm not going to necessarily knock that trade offer right away. I'm going to hit you up. We're going to talk about it. So I think it's just more of a question of him just not wanting to trade the player. And since he doesn't want to trade him, he's only going to accept a deal that he's going to like more than that player himself, which is, of course, going to be an overpay for said player. You know what I mean? In this case, Marvin Harrison or whatever the case is. Nothing is going to help me get a wide receiver. I'm fine not overpaying. Oh, buddy. I might have one available, but I'm going to end up waiting until the regular season actually starts. That's like asking for Penix and getting a comparison between Lawrence and TJ. Yeah. That made no sense. That was funny shit, bro. That right there, if you would have sent me that comparison, I would have been like, what? What are we talking about, bro? What are you talking about? And let me know. Keep me up to speed so that I know that we're, having the same conversation right now, because I'll be lost in the sauce. Comparing 2 guys that are just... DJ's going to be an interesting name in the 2 quarterback leagues. How far down the board does Daniel Jones go before somebody takes him? We got a Giants fan in the building. Got a couple of them. They're there.
He might get picked high.
Yes, there's some Danny Dimes truthers out here. I know there are.
I think he's gonna have a good year though.
There's a guy that we're talking to right now that would do it. I still don't know what they're gonna be. I don't know what the Colts are gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna be. It doesn't sound like Anthony Richardson's gonna be ready to go. So it's looking like Daniel Jones is going to get the chance. And there's a good chance that he does well out there. I just don't believe in their wide receiver situation too much. to really like look at the whole team as a team and be like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Like I don't see it. I see a physical run first football team, which is what the Colts have been for the last 10 years. You know, I don't see any of that changing just because he would be the quarterback that's taking over. Oh yeah, he's not going to go unpicked. In the 2-quarterback league, every single quarterback is going to get picked. We could end up having maybe one starting quarterback sitting on waivers for a couple of weeks up until people smarten up or need a quarterback and realize like, okay, this guy can ball. Like it's happened. Bryce Young, I believe his first year, CJ Stroud rookie year, he was on waivers.
This draft
one of
is
the
not
leagues
doing much for this.
One of the leagues that I played in the year that Justin Herbert was a rookie, Justin Herbert got picked up off waivers. That was when Tyrod Taylor was supposed to start that year, and then shit got all crazy. I believe the guy that picked up Herbert won the league that year too. I think that was Kenny, Gridiron Goats. He had Herbert the rookie year, got him right off waivers, bro. So you never know, man. You never know. Like the draft is great, but it's like once you draft, you look at your roster, keep looking, keep fishing. There's still stuff out there. There's still shit going on. It's not, that's why I always tell people, like, if you're not gonna do this, don't bother doing it. You know what I mean? There's being in a league, and then there is being in a league and just like playing the game to the full extent. If you're a part-timer, cool, happy for you. But I don't know. There's levels to this shit,
Nothing cooking, man. It's a slow sports night.
No. I mean, we pretty much covered it. We got the main, we're setting the table for our fantasy conversation. Not much happening right now. Baseball's going. Yankees are up in the bottom of the 6th, which is something I haven't been able to say for a while. Feels good to say that. You guys are in a 1-0 ball game right now with the Astros. Another pitcher's duel between these two teams. You got the Cubs up big on the Cardinals, 8-0. Dodgers and Rockies in the 5th, 0-0. Freaking Dodgers. Just Mets up 7-1 on the Atlanta Braves in the top of the 9th. So the Mets looking like they're gonna take that one against the Atlanta Braves, who continue to just flounder.
Yeah. Oh, we're 4-4 now, buddy.
When we're tied up in Sandlot Baseball Association 4-4 after I had a nice little lead yesterday, and see what my guys are even doing right now. 6 for 33, 5 runs, 1 RBI, 1 stolen base, and we're batting 182. And I have no starting pitcher today, so all my guys pretty much went. Yeah, I don't see myself doing much more. Oh, this is tough. Fantasy baseball is not kind. Fantasy football may not be any kinder, but nonetheless, we have 2 months. 2 more months of information, 2 more months of hot takes, 2 more months of getting things right and wrong, 2 more months of predictions, 2 more months of some futures bets. I think that we need to in the next couple of weeks.
Start doing them.
Next couple of weeks, we need to sit here. We can go live and we can go live. We can go back to what we did last year. Work on our divisions, and matter of fact, we can on the nights that we're reviewing the divisions, we can do our live bets for those divisions. We can put our money where our mouth is and just put a little sample size, what we think is going to go down, how we think it's going to go down. Go crazy and make yourself a parlay of the teams that you think are going to make the
Golden
playoffs.
Versus Tracy. 2025 watch.
If he wants, bro. This shouldn't take long. Anytime they make one of these stupid ass bets with me, they never win. Remember the Levis Daniel Jones bet? Levis won that bet. Believe it or not. Levis won that bet while getting benched. Shit. Oh man.
Shit.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, man. I can't wait.
Next Wednesday night, draft order.
It's going down.
Draft order on next week.
Excited about that. Excited to break that down. It's going to be a big week.
We'll try to sprinkle in some stuff, but the focus is going to be on getting draft orders done.
That's going to be the focus.
And
that's going to be the big
we're
deal.
hoping that everybody that's watching is going to tune in and talk fantasy with us. Give us more what your leagues do.
It's going to be a good time. Let us know what's going on in your leagues. Let us know, are you guys getting stuff started? Are you guys just are you mocking? Like, what are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing differently? What are you seeing in your top 5 that's different from the top 5 that we gave you? How are you feeling? If you're, maybe this is a year where you're going into a new league year where you guys are trying out something new. Maybe you guys are adding that next flex. Maybe you guys are adding that second QB. So it's like, how are you feeling as far as the strategy that versus the strategy that you're going to have to adapt to? You know what I mean? Like, give me number 1 and I'll buy you a mofongo. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Number 1 in sick picks. I need to be focused for that draft.
No nonsense.
Yeah, it's like going into it, defending a couple of championships, but in some leagues, I've never been a champion. So that storyline doesn't exist. It's just wanting it and being a first-round exit, and just dealing with it. Watching Bobby win the sick picks title multiple times, I
quit that league.
Just losing in East Coast champs, losing in true legends. It's like, those are the leagues right now on the queue right now for me, as far as like I need to win that. And the 1 pick is yours. I love the back and forth all night. Mike, I love you. Thanks for staying up with us to banter and talk some shit and have some fun. Hope to have you in here soon enough, buddy. Chris, thanks for your comments. Paul, earlier, thank you for your comments. And Paul, we're going to keep an eye open just to make sure, if there's any opening or an opportunity in any of the leagues, if somebody can't make it, we will reach out and bring you in. This year, I feel like we were able to do that, bring in some new blood, some of the, people who wanted to be a part of it. We didn't have an opening, and now they are. So it's like slowly but surely, gradually, we will keep, doing that. And hopefully get everybody in.
I agree.
Make a damn forum league or something if we have to.
No picks for you. I'm going to PR.
A 12-man forum league.
There ain't no hot tags this year. I can tell you that much.
But yeah, man. Next week, big week. Hope everybody enjoys their week this week leading up until then. Thank you for tuning in tonight, kicking back, having some fun with us. Remember, the fantasy talk on here is just getting started. So, make sure you bring it. Whatever you want to discuss, bring your top 5 to next week's pod. It's all right. The conversation never ends, man. And if you don't want to wait until next week, then bring it to the On the Money Sports Forum, because we will be there. There's somebody always there.
And with that notion, we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe and love one another.
Peace.
Till then, see you guys next week.